Hi guys, English DCT here. Putting broken thumbs. Blowing a gale outside. Hope you can't pick the sound up. Anyway, this is the Predator 670 standard stock carburetor. Kind of a brick. I'm just going to put this back together so you can see how to put it back together. Okay. Emulsion tubes. If you look at the emulsion tube, notice it's got a little bit of a taper. Fat end up, skinny end in. And then the main jet. If these start to even think about pinching, stop. Take them out, work out what's wrong, dirt on the thread, something like that. Make sure you get good screwdrivers that have thin sides. Like this, ground off on the edges, good quality. They make special screwdriver sets for this. Go ask Musty One, he'll tell you about them. Put them in. You don't have to torque them in too tight or anything. And little hook on here for your fuel cutoff. Goes down inside the little hole, like so. And then the float retaining pin. Like that. You see when it's empty, it's down like that. As it fills up, it closes off, shuts the gas off. Well, it's supposed to shut the gas off. If you've got a fuel pump on that's stronger than that can overcome that, then maybe not. And that may be one of the problems I have. The fuel pump I've got on the Cushman, maybe for the 670, may be a little bit too strong. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. Show you that in a second. And then you've got to get this round the right way. Now, 2 idle screws and low speed idle jets go in here. They're like the Honda style ones. The nose of this and the locating pins. This goes in the Cushman, front of the engine, goes in and under the intake manifold. The intake manifold sits in here with this attachment and then a riser. You've seen this thousands of times on the web. Not necessarily with this carb though. And the guys from Cars and Cameras, they've done a fair chunk of it. With their 670 build stuff and Power Sports. And this is a rubber gasket on this. So the set comes with main jets for altitude. I think 2 extra sets. And it comes with little gaskets. The solenoid shut off on this is actually removed at this point. It was causing a problem, and I was just investigating problems about what was causing the other problems and not running. It turned out to be, as it always was, these too lean for EPA. So it was taken out and the jets were too aggressively drilled out, I think, because I've got way too much fuel going into it now. Now these were the jets in the previous video I was talking about drilling out. I drilled them out way too much. Way too much. So I have to replace those. I'm just showing you how everything goes back together. These have got to be replaced. They have numbers on them, they just click in. I think it's a Honda style thing, so I've been trying to find replacements for them. They click in, and then it has a safety bolt basically that goes in. You need a special tool for. Yep, forgot the washer. The washer keeps the two jets down. Everybody thinks, well, they're open from the top. Well, they're actually not. They're open from the bottom, and then they go up through the emulsion, through the main jet, through the emulsion tube, through the bottom, and then there's a feeder vein that comes off, goes under through this Welch plug, up and through into the idle jets, and then they spray out in here and then down the front, depending on where your throttle is, obviously. As far as I understand. So here's the tool. That little guy. Again, doesn't have to be whaled on or anything, just held down. Yeah, this is where the bone of contention comes on these things. Is how tight, how far in, where's it come. Be careful when you're putting them in, fine threads. Don't screw them down like a monkey and bottom them out all the way. You just get them to the point where they just start to bind a little. See, that's just started to bind. You take a pen, and on the inside you just mark right there on this one. So it's tight up against the housing. So I'm going to go 1/2, 1 1/4. Because I drilled these out, that's not going to work. But so I've been fussing with this carburetor again. One time it'll run like a charm, next time it won't. Plugs get fouled up, there's way too much fuel getting in. But I've got a solution for that in a minute. Maybe. New jets, obviously, or what I'm going to try. So that's right there. They're not necessarily in the same place because of the way the casting was drilled. So you can bring this out 1/2, 1, and then putting 1/4 on that. So basically that's the carburetor rebuilt. Choke side, butterflies, accelerator. You can just about see the little tiny dribble area where it just dribbles for idle. That's the biggest problem with this, is they're so lean it's almost impossible to get them to run dead right. Drilling these out, undo this, take them out, drill them with a set of very, very fine drills. I think I showed you those before, but 1 second to get them. Really, really, really fine numbered drills, all the way from 80 to 61. Check it, find out where the low speed idle jet physically is with the nearest drill, and then take it up 1 or 2 at maximum, put them back in, run it, try it. Make sure it's warm, obviously, if you can, and then try and set the jets just down for it to start to stumble, bring it up a little bit, maybe 1/8 of a turn, so it just runs good, and then see if you can get it to idle. If you can't, take them out, drill them again, but go up steps of 1 at a time through the drill set, but really don't go too far. I thought, you see these holes in the Welch plugs, and they're billet plugs, in fact, aluminum billet plugs. I actually thought that this spider tube vein that comes off of the low speed into the idle jet setting was actually blocked, and it turned out it wasn't. It was just it was starving for fuel all the time. And I actually drilled them out, popped them out, and cleaned everything, and there was nothing to clean. They were absolutely fine. Again, like I said in the previous video, the damn thing's been off, I kid you not, 45 odd times, and drilling out the low speed idles were the best thing. It even They even